Hey there, it's me, Lisa the Love Coach. You're on Instagram. Go hit me up, Lisa the Love Coach on Instagram. I'm hanging out. It's a Facebook Live. It's the 4 o'clock hour, which means I'm running my mouth on some kind of dating topic, relationship issue, divorce, drama, narcissistic abuse, you name it, I'm talking it. What's up, Marlon Sanchez Perez? What's up, Carmen girl? How are you? Haven't talked to your beautiful face in ages. Hope you're well. Gary, nice to see you on. Adriana Ospina, lovely. All the people coming on the live today, I guess this is a hot topic. Certainly one that people could relate to. And that is when you finished a toxic relationship and now you're thinking, am I ready to date again? How do I tell? And what do I need to look out for? And I'm kind of worried. What if the same shit happens again? And you're kind of freaking out. So this is all normal. I have clients going through this all the time. In fact, a lot of them come to me because they are coming out of divorce or coming out of a toxic relationship, and they're really afraid that they don't really feel confident that they are ready to date with power and purpose and confidence, and that they can keep themselves safe. So I wanted to talk about that today in the live. And if you are tuning in and you want to chat with me, I know sometimes people like to watch these things that I post and then they come at me privately because the topics are very often personal and they don't want to just blab their business out there on the Facebook land. So that's totally cool. I welcome the one-on-one conversation. I'm actually offering a special for people who belong to or join my private Facebook group, where you can speak with me on any love life topic for a half hour for $50. And it's more of a membership type of perk for the people who are in my group. So if you're interested in being in that group, by all means, give me a shout. And by group, I mean a Facebook group. This isn't like group coaching or anything like that yet. This is just a Facebook group where I go in there and I often do trainings and different types of material that I share with the people in the group. It's more for people who actually have a problem in their love life that they want to solve, a specific problem. Tracy Ann, your hair is super shiny. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's gym sweat hair and some coconut oil. So after this, I'm taking a shower. But thank you for the compliment. Appreciate that. Bob Newman's tuning in. What's up, Bob? Happy to see you on the live. So I'm going to dive on in now that we have a nice group of people tuning in, jumping on, talking about how do you know if you're ready to date again after dealing with a toxic relationship. How do you know if you are new to dating? What are you probably going to behave like? What are certain things that are going to happen so that you know you're not alone and it's normal, and what to do about it. So if any of the stuff that resonates, with you and you want to chat with me, feel free to PM me. All good. Okay. So I had a client and she went through a breakup. I did a post-breakup detox with her late last year, earlier on to this year. So we got her like over the breakup. And it was very traumatizing for her. The guy was a full-blown narcissist, really controlling, very set in his ways, making her feel like everything is her fault, not wanting to go anywhere, not wanting to do anything fun, very verbally abusive, just like a shit show. Like the guy was a real, not nice person to her. So she leaves the relationship finally, but had such trauma over it because there were so many things about the relationship that she missed. True classic codependent form. You leave a relationship and then you're like, but then you romanticize the relationship thinking that this person is like the best thing. Like all of a sudden you start seeing all the good stuff and you second guess yourself in that maybe I shouldn't have broken up, or you know that you're right in breaking up, but you spend so much time and energy doing like psychological analysis on your ex. Like you spend your time like trying to read books and go watch YouTube videos and like sorting out, figuring them out. And it's just like, a waste of energy, because if you leave the relationship, your primary focus is on your well-being, yourself, your forward movement, not looking at the psychological analysis of the person of before. But I do understand how that can also be cathartic and also self-preservation, in that the more you understand about the person, you can see the red flags and you can feel safe moving forward that you're not going to attract that kind of person again. But actually, you're setting yourself up for the opposite. So if we look at the law of attraction, wherever we put our mind and attention, that determines what we get. So putting attention on an ex and trying to figure out what made them tick, why did they make these decisions, why did they cheat, what did they do, whatever, their whole mental program will only increase the chances that you will go out in the world and bam, meet somebody exactly like your ex again. The issue is not about figuring them out, it's about figuring out why you attracted them in the first place. So number one thing you want to do in that regard is you want to take the focus off of analyzing them and turn it onto yourself, and asking all the kinds of questions as to what is it in me that attracted this. Once you ask that main question, the right information will appear. It's like the gods of the universe, the universe and God lines up to serve you the right coach, the right seminar, the right place to be, to go, whatever, to get the kind of healing that you really need. So that's one thing to consider 100%. And then let's say now you've, like my client, gone through a coach situation with me, a program, an immersion program, 3 months, talking every week, giving her soul work to do in between weeks, having access to me in between. So when she has these freak out, panic thoughts and whatever, she did amazing, amazing work. She never skipped a session. She communicated with me in between sessions. She would have these attacks of like rumination and finding herself like completely and totally wadded up in the thinking of him. And that was when she took, the impulse, whatever, to reach out to me, and we would talk it through, and I would ask her questions, and we would do this right on Facebook in PM and in direct message, and we'd be voice clipping each other and just giving different perspective to her, kind of how to get the thinking off of him and onto her and her healing, and reminding her of what happened really in that relationship when she started to romanticize, oh, he wasn't that bad a guy, and maybe he's this, and maybe that, and do you think this? And I'm just like, girl, you need to get the attention off of him, and let's put it back to you. And then through coaching and asking her certain questions, she would do that, and she'd be like, oh my God, I feel so much better, this was great, right? So this is what you want to do. You want to turn that focus on to yourself. So when she finally, I wouldn't say finally, but she's definitely in a place now, this is months later, where she's now just emerging into dating again. And she's wobbly about it, which is normal, right? You come through a very traumatic relationship, there's a lot of drama, and she still had like residual stuff to handle with this guy. They were together a really long time, right? So there was things to separate, and things, and furniture and housing and all kinds of drama. So she handled that for the most part, and now she's at a point where she's ready to date again. And so there naturally is apprehension, concern. There's a sense of, I don't want this to happen again. But then there's also this neediness, this opportunity to handle this needy quality, where she meets this guy through people, which is great. And they go out and they have a really good time. They saw each other twice so far. It's very, very new. And he has this lifestyle where he sees his family for chunks of time and goes away. And so he did it already once, and they were dating, and he left and came back and looked for her, and then they set up the next date, and that date happened. And so now he's going away again for a few days, And she was freaking out, instantly goes into this needy, what if he goes away and then he forgets about me, but he kissed me twice, so I guess that means he likes me, but I don't know, and should I text him while he's away? Like, how does that happen? And so she sent him a text thanking him for a wonderful afternoon date that they had, and then in that text wishing him well for his, travels to see his family, but then alluded to like asking him to be in touch with her while he's away. So she's now worried that she messed up by saying that. So a bunch of things to unpack about this, because people get very into that about, insecurity is the root of all of this. So we're now in a conversation, because now I'm coaching her on a dating with purpose, dating with power and purpose. That's her next progression. So first she got through the breakup. So now we're moving her into the dating with power and purpose, not insecurity and needy, but power and purpose. And what's the difference? So in this scenario, power and purpose dating looks like this. Guy is going away. You just had an awesome date. You send him a text and you say, hey, that was a great time. I had so much fun with you. Thank you for, a wonderful afternoon. And so I'm excited to pick this back up when you return. None of this business about, are you going to call me while you're gone? Are you going to text me while you're gone? Are you gonna No. You hit that right at the pass and you say what I said. Listen, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Great day. So much fun. I like this. We're having a good time. This is great. Listen, I look forward to catching up. I look forward to picking this back up when you return. Have fun with your family. All the best. And I look forward to it. Whatever. That's the energy, though. That's the energy you want to capture. You don't want to ever be like, you're going to call me when... Let him call you. Let him be in the middle of it and a bubble of you pops up or not. It's 2 dates. You're 2 dates in. This is like wine bottle. You cork it. It comes open and like right now the wine is like sitting there breathing. Right? And you're just letting it hang a little bit. That's what the early part of dating is. And so when you know that you might not be quite ready to date and there is more healing to do, is when you start to date and all of this feeling of anxiety and neediness and checking the phone and this you might feel it in your chest, or you feel it in your shoulders or your neck, like throat chakra, like somewhere in your body, you're gonna feel like nervous, anxious, whatever, if this person isn't coming at you exactly the way you need at the exact time. And what needs to be clear here is when you're in that headspace where you're super codependent and you're relying on somebody else to fill your cup up and you're not doing it for yourself, it will never be enough. It will never be enough. And I'll explain. Let's say hypothetically in this situation, this guy wrote her back and said, yeah, sure thing. I'll check in with you from time to time. Okay. When? Every day? Twice a day? When? Right? It never ends. It never ends. This is why we have to do the work on ourselves. We have to fill our own cup. We have to love ourselves. We have to understand that our worthiness and our goodness is not wrapped up in another person. And I say this because, let me tell you, there are a lot of parents out there. I'm coaching a mom right now. She is having, with her husband, empty nest depression on a level where this lady doesn't know who the hell she is, if not for her children. And this is a woman whose husband did very well for himself, so she had part-time jobs here and there just to keep busy. She didn't really have a full-blown career, a full-blown thing. She lived for her family. She lived for her kids. And now the little chicky peas are flying out of the nest. One decided that this September, they're staying in the town where they went to college. Mom's having, this is the thing that set her off, that now they're coaching with me. That the dad, the father, found me on LinkedIn, and he asked me, do you coach people going through empty nest, like depression? Like, my wife can't handle the fact that her kid flew the coop. So this is another thing that I'm working on. And the reason why I say that is because codependency is anything that has to do with your love and your value and your worthiness coming from the dependence or the interaction with a person outside of you. So this, it goes for anything. Anything could be a codependent rooted relationships. You have to be really careful about that. And so that codependency with the situation of my single client now dating again, something that a lot of people can relate to is, it never ends. So you have to learn how to do that work for you. And what work is that exactly? Well, a lot of it has to do with getting to the broken part of you, that little inner kid, that past traumatic 20-year-old, 30-year-old, whatever. Something happened in your life, several things could have happened in your life, where you were made to feel wrong and you were not nurtured through that trauma. And so a part of you split off, and that is the part of you that is running your life in relationships now. So there are many people showing up in relationships like their, 4-year-old self who thinks that they're bad because their parents divorced when they were 4. Or there's a person in a relationship showing up as their 16-year-old self because that's the year that she had her first boyfriend, lost her virginity. It was like a big deal, and he dumped her and cheated on her and did it in a very traumatic way. So whatever the deal is, right, we can all go back to that moment. When I do this work with people and they tell me what's wrong and what they see and the patterns that they see or the thing that they're grappling with, I ask them, based on that question, I say, okay, so when was the first time that someone told you blank? You're not worthy. You're not pretty enough. You were made to feel embarrassed. You were made to feel controlled. You were made to feel stupid. You were made to feel like if you weren't perfect, you weren't good enough. All of these things, everybody has their thing. And typically, it always stems back to something traumatic, some kind of belief, some kind of something that they either witnessed or they were told. It could be a teacher, it could be anything. Somebody that they trusted messed them up, said something, did something that issued a trauma. And it was never handled, it was never sorted out, no peace ever came from it. And so now that version of them shows up and runs their life in whatever aspect. In the case of my coaching, it's typically relationships. I do get into some career stuff because typically I coach people who are very success-minded and they do very well for themselves. So there's always this blend of relationship life and professional career life. So if the relationship life is all banged up, obviously they're going to see aspects of fallout in their career. So this is the deal, people. We need to like really go back in there, and we need to serve ourselves, and we need to nurture these traumas and these things that happen. And yeah, there are books out there on this stuff, but it's not easy to do. And when you're re-emerging into the dating game again after perhaps leaving a traumatic relationship, a toxic relationship, one of the things that you're going to be incredibly sensitive to is this fear of, am I going to attract the same bullshit again in somebody else? How do I keep myself safe? And the way to do that is to have a dating strategy. You have to get very clear on the kind of person you want to be with, the kind of life you're building for yourself, and who is a good match for that, first and foremost. And then what kind of questions are you asking to ascertain if this in fact is a match, and knowing what you know before about what you got into before, how can you ask certain questions? What questions do you ask? What are you listening for to spot those red flags? And having the balls, the courage, the self-love to walk away when something just isn't rubbing you right, when something's a little off, when they said something and it just didn't fit. It's not saying, oh, well, there isn't really anybody else out there, so that's just one little thing. No, it's not one little thing. If you feel it in your gut where you're like, ooh, that was definitely a red flag, I don't know, best to just, you know what, make a note of it, go out on maybe 3 date stops and call it a day. Like, really honor yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying to somebody, look, I see this more as a friend vibe right now. I'm grateful for our time together, but, you know, I just see this more as a friend thing. And sticking to that, it's very powerful, especially if you're a person who has taught women, men, mainly women, that it's impolite to not want to be with somebody, and just give them a chance. Give them a chance. If you were raised by parents, by people who are like, you're so picky, and like, you know, a lot of times, I have to say, us girls, when we were teenagers, we had our shit more together than we do later. Like, life ends up having its way with us, and all of that sassiness and all of that honoring of ourselves goes out the window. I was working with another client, and she is in her early 40s, and she always says she is never one to break up with someone, and she ends up, because of it, in these string of relationships that she's never really interested in, but she can't get out of. And she ends up making it where they break up with her. And then she's devastated. No, this is mind fuckery on a level of, I'm just like, what are you telling me? Okay, so I asked her, talk to me about when you first started dating, like ever in your life, ever when you first started dating. And she says, well, I was a very late bloomer. And I said, why? She said, well, because I was very popular in high school, and I was very good in my grades, and I knew I was going to a really good college, and I didn't want anything to distract me. And I had a bunch of friends, and boys would ask me out, and I would go, and we would have fun, but I never liked any of them enough. So I said, wow, okay, so this is interesting. When did it switch for you? And she said, my mom would always say to me that I'm so picky that I'm going to be alone. If you're not careful, you're going to be all alone. And when you go to college, you better be on the lookout, because it's not just about college, it's about finding a good guy. It's about, you know, being with that man and finding somebody good. And if you were going to pay this money to send you to college, and, you know, you're going to go and get this degree, we also are going to be grandparents someday. You're going to be a wife someday. I mean, they went at her and they planted this thing in her head. So off to college she goes, and still picky, picky, picky. And then she meets this guy. And the whole thing went off the rails when she was 18. When she was 16 and she was telling her mom, listen, Ma, here's the deal. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to kick the shit out of college. And then I'm going to make something out of myself, and I'm going to have a line of men wanting to be with me and not the other way around. No, she went right to college, and because mom planted this earworm, cancerous mental fuckery on her head, she went away to college. Part of her is thinking, okay, I'm going to kick ass, I'm going to do great in college, whatever. I think what happened was, she told me that she started college and the first thing of midterms came. And she remembers being this great student, and then all of a sudden she got like C+. First in her life ever C+. And she got like 3 C+s for the semester, her freshman year of college. And if anybody here knows, been to college, come on, your freshman year of college, I went through the same thing. I had to relearn how to study. It's a completely different thing. And you got to give yourself like a solid grade point to adjust. It's a very different thing. And typically, you don't really start kicking the crap out of college until you're well into your major. That's just fact, right? So this poor little girl goes off to college. She's thinking, I'm going to kick some ass, I'm going to do amazing. She gets her first grades and she's freaking out, oh my God, I got a C+, which isn't that terrible, your first semester of college. Anyway, for her though, it was like the end of the world. So she then gets very hard on herself, and right then she meets a guy in one of her classes, and they bonded, and that became the first thing of attaching to someone when you're feeling low and not knowing how to get out of it, even though you know that they're not really for you. So she dated this guy for 2 years, so now she's 20. So he breaks up with her, devastated. She tells me the whole thing. Then a pattern again, and a pattern again, and this keeps going, and then she was married for a bit. Also, in the marriage, she's like, on my wedding day, walking down the aisle, knew he wasn't for me. I'm like, oh how did you not say anything? She's like, he had a great job. He was amazing on paper. I knew he'd be a great father. All of that. Walked down the aisle, marries this guy, 12 years married. They have children, done. So she had this pattern of not being in the right thing and not knowing how to leave it, sticking in it, being codependent in it, thinking that this isn't really for me, but I don't know who I am if I'm not in it. Oh my God, awful. So lo and behold, 40 years old, pattern's still happening. She's having issues with dating, and you know, we have to handle it, gotta handle it. And so she's very concerned and worried that she has no idea how to judge, how to pick, how to choose, doesn't know. Her whole thing is completely out of whack. So we're rebuilding that and encouraging her to date with purpose, to date with clarity, to date with knowing, based on where she is in her life right now, what she wants to do, how she wants to live, and who is that ideal guy based on that. So this is what we're working on. And she's coming at dating little by little. And the practice for her is going out and breaking up, going out and ending it. So we've been doing this little exercise where she's dating very casually, and she's going on 3 dates, and if the second is that she doesn't like them and she doesn't think it's a fit, she's getting used to ending it with grace and loveliness and compassion. And she's like, I'm meeting a lot of nice men, like I'm making friends with them because they, for business even, because if the relationship doesn't work out, they see me very confident, I guess, where I'm graceful and I say, you know, I feel it more like a friend's vibe and I really enjoy our time, but I'm thinking that romantically it's not there for me. And they ask her why, and she's like, it's just, you know, either it's there or it's not, but as friends, you found a friend in me no matter what. And she's gracious, and you know, they take it how they take it. And she was always so guilty and shamed for letting good guys go. And now she's into this place with coaching where she's getting her confidence, where she can break up with whomever she wants. And, you know, her mom, I think, is at a point now, she's like 82 years old, where she's like, I just want my daughter happy. I don't care, you know. And she's like, great, Ma, like my whole life, you know, I'm the youngest, and you were like, get a man. And now you're like, I don't really care. So, you know, look, we all grow, our parents grow, people change and evolve as they're going through their life. And it's all on us, though, to take responsibility for ourselves, our happiness, filling ourselves up with love on our own, and from there, entering relationships from a place of power and purpose, and not anxiety, and not, oh my God, is he going to call me? Is he going to text me? I don't know. Does she like me? She left her earring at my house. I guess that means she likes me. Like all these, you know, mental threads that we try to connect, and we end up ruminating and getting ourselves into the bushes, into the deep bushes of all of the complexities of these relationships, when in actuality, the relationship between us, source, divine, us and us, our core relationship, me and me, you and you, that's the number one relationship to always cultivate. And when that is missing, we will find ourselves in different situations, not healthy, being too alone, too isolated, or opposite, very promiscuous, very self-sabotaging, very looking for fun and things to keep our minds out of the internal work that we need to do. So anybody on this path, I send you much hugs, love, and light, because this path is a mofo. When you decide to commit to the path of your personal growth and development, and you start to uncover different things about yourself that you want to grow and change, it can be pretty hairy. So I commend all of you who are taking time to watch me on this video. And if there's anything I said on here that resonated and you'd like some time with me, drop me a note on a PM. We totally can talk and handle whatever you got going on. Happy to help you out. I'm Lisa Concepcion, certified professional life coach, specializing in love life strategy, dating, relationships, detoxing from breakups, putting some mystical, magical woogie on people who've done you wrong. I handle it all. So let's talk. I love you guys. Have a great rest of your evening. Bye.